sales, as always. I know we talk a lot about sales on here, and it's because I love it. It's because it's where everything really begins and ends. John, you said something at the event in May that I still say all the time that I love. You know, when times are good, sales above all else. When times are bad, sales above all else. So what we're going to talk about tonight is objections. When times may be bad, if you're running into objections, things you can't get over. We're going to talk about them as a whole, the whole framework. John and I were chatting beforehand about them. And just so you guys know, we're going to be taking one-on-one questions in regards to specific objections. But we want to talk about the theory objections, why they come up, why they shouldn't really come up on most calls. So with that, John, I'm going to turn it over to you so you can share some of the things we were chatting about before the call here.
Mm-hmm. So a couple of things. What I want to share with you guys and girls who are on this call is I want to eliminate the chances of actually you getting an objection before an objection actually occurs. And I've actually got a really cool strategy that literally kills and crushes any objections a client is ever going to bring up. So it's a really simple 3-step process. But a couple of things here. The more you know about the people you're serving, the more you know about your customers in the market, the more you understand what their challenges, what their problems are, and what their issues are. That's really critical because the more you take time to learn about the people you're speaking to, first of all, it makes them think like you actually care, right, which you do. So what most people do is they try to get married on the first date and crunch people. You want to get to know people, you want to understand people, and you also want to have them indoctrinated. So Nick, I know you use a VSL, you've used webinars, you've used a whole bunch of stuff to get a person to an actual call. So it creates an indoctrination of one, you know what you're doing, you're establishing authority, you're showing a level of competency and experience with what you're doing in terms of getting results, and you've got a solution that solves a problem that they have in the market. So these are critical factors. So the more we know, the more we understand our market, and the more we indoctrinate, the more we create context for them, the easier it is for us to actually help them on board, to give them exactly what they want to do, and that is to get results with what your service is solving a problem with. So if you're running Facebook ads, they know that the market is on Facebook, and they know they just want to know, how do I get clients on Facebook, right? If you're running AdWords, they know that 70% of all search starts on a mobile phone. They want to know that, hey, how do we place ourselves in front of a customer? How do we make it easy for them to engage and connect with us on AdWords? If we're doing sales funnels, how do we filter our clients more effectively? How do we indoctrinate them more effectively? How do we maximize our conversions through a sales funnel? How do we build a relationship and also open the door to closing a deal so we can automate the entire sales process, which means that gives us leverage, that gives us the ability to grow, right? So these are all the things, these are all the benefits of the results that we give into the market. But an objection plays 2 parts of the psychology. The first part is an objection, which is a brush off. A brush off is if I hear something that I've kind of heard before, or if I hear something where somebody's trying to get me to do something, trying to sell a pitch to me, my immediate response is, if I walked into a store and I look around a store and a store clerk walks up to me and they say, hey, can I help you? My immediate response is going to be, no, I'm just looking, right? So even though I know, because her helping me or her coming up saying, can I help you, means you want to sell me something, right? So we're trying to grab people's attention and we're trying to sit and say, hey, let's have a conversation. But they're sitting there in their head and their objectives are, look, that's really good. Send me something on the phone, send me something in the mail, or send me an email, or, you know, it's the brush off. So the first psychological trigger is just a canned response that everybody has when they hear something that kind of sounds like you're going to pitch me something and I'm really not interested, right? So that's the first part of an objection. The second part of an objection is a little bit, it's actually a better level of an objection. It's a clarification. The reason why they're bringing up an objection is not because they're rejecting your idea, it's because they're asking a question. They're asking the question, is this right for me? Or will this work for me? Or is this right for me right now? Right? So those 3 questions are popping up in their head. And I want to just clarify, one of the ways to eliminate objections, and hopefully if you use this, you're going to really get a lot of benefit out of it, is there are 3 questions that you've got to answer in people's heads. Even at the time when you initially engage them, even at the time of setting up a presentation, the first question you've got to answer is, why this? Why Facebook? Why a funnel? Why AdWords? Why lead generation, right? That's the first question you're going to answer, right? Because the first question they're going to answer is, why this? You know, the second question is, why you? Why am I talking to you when I could be talking to 50 other agencies out there? So why am I talking to this guy, right? Or girl, okay? And the third question is, why now? Why do I need to do this right now, today, right? Now, these are three questions that if they ask you these questions in your conversation or in your presentation, you're dead. You will lose the sale, and I'll explain why, right? And here's the other side of this. If they don't ask you any of these three questions, and they're asking these questions in their head while they're talking to you, you're dead. You won't make a sale, right? So what we want to do is we want to eliminate this thing so we completely kibosh any objection that they have as to why they're here right up front. So one of the things you want to do, and this is really important, a lot of people want to get married on the first date. So I don't know, do you do a two-step, Nick, or you just go straight for
No, we
close?
always two-step every time.
Okay, so the two-step is high level. Let's get to know you a little bit. Let's understand. Let's see if we're a fit, right? And then the next step is, okay, great. Let's get serious. Let's look at a plan on how we can help you achieve that objective.
Really quick, John. I want to make sure everyone caught that real quick in case they're not used to. When he says two-step, what we're talking about is taking two different phone calls, right? Essentially, we're running a qualifying call where we're asking them questions. We're literally qualifying them, making sure it's worth our time. So then we run them through a pitch deck or some sort of demo. Anyone who's inside the private group knows that. So I just want to make sure that we're clear on that one, John. So keep going.
So we want to get high level conversation, and also in the one step, we want them wanting more. When we leave that first call, we want them in their head going, yeah, I'm in the right place. We're having the right conversation. Yeah, I want to know more. That's what we want to do in that two-step process. So in the first conversation, it's very high level. Tell me about your business. What's a customer worth to you? What are you doing right now for marketing advertising? How much are you investing? What sort of results are you getting? What's a real pain in the ass for you right now? What's not working for you? Those sorts of questions we're asking high level, so it gives us an understanding. And even at that point, I've probably done a little bit of homework even before I've done the first call in a two-step. So I might check their website, might check a Facebook page, just to go, hey, had a look around. You got some cool images. Site looks pretty cool. Hey, you've got some interesting things going on with your website, right? So that they know that you've actually taken the time, that you care. So when we get to our presentation, we're going to go, so can I do this as if we're doing a role play, Nick?
Let's rock, guys.
So,
hit the like button if you guys like this so far, guys. I want to make sure you're catching all this. I know there's a bunch of people want to make sure we're good.
So
right here.
Nick, you're the doc and I'm you, okay? Yep. Hey, Nick, we've got a call set this time. Is this time okay with you?
Yes, that works.
Good. I just want to make sure, can you see my screen? Can you hear me clearly? Is that working for you right now? Is that cool?
Yeah, we're good to go.
Great. Now, we've got an hour set aside, but I want to just be right up front with you. I've been on these presentations before where you've made a point with a salesperson and, you're going through and you might be 10, 15 minutes into the call and you might go, I want to get out of this. I'm really not interested. So I'm going to give you permission right now at any time that you feel that this isn't right for you, that you can get out of this call. But alternatively, if I feel at any time through this presentation that it's not a fit for you, that I can call it quits on you. Is that okay, Nick?
Sounds good.
Right there, what I've done is I've killed and I've actually relaxed you. I've taken the air out of this whole conversation. You can get out of this. There's no pressure. I can get out of this. There's no pressure, right? So that one little thing, are we cool? We're right for this hour. That's great. Hey, let me just get this clear. You can say no at any time. I've done this before, sat in front of a salesperson, we booked an hour, we're 15 minutes in and I feel bored or this isn't right for me. You can call this quits anytime, but at the same time, if I feel this isn't a fit for you, I can end this conversation at any time with you. Is that cool?
That's cool. And really quick, John, I want to make a quick note on the importance of why I think it's super big to run the two-step sale process, because there's a lot of people who try and jam it all into one. And is there anything worse than you're going through a great pitch and all of a sudden they have to go or they have to leave right before you get to the stack because you don't have this opportunity to set exactly what you just said with them, setting expectations. Plus, like you said, you're leaving them wanting more and you're also busy. Like, hey, man, I don't have time for a pitch. This can be about 45 minutes to an hour. I need you to be ready to go. Let's set something up. So that's where the psychology is in doing it. And I love that opener, John. That's fantastic. As always. Keep going.
So I want you to say no. Like, I want you to be comfortable in saying no. And I want to say no, so we're on the same page. We're going to go back to the setting up of this pitch in just a second to minimize objections. But this is how we talk about the why this, why now, why you, why now, right? So we've got that. We set out, say, listen, I just want to really be clear. I just want to know, why is Facebook advertising, or why is being on Facebook and generating customers important to you? Why this?
You know, it's something I see everyone doing. I know that there's a lot of people out there. You know, we haven't had any success with it in the past, but I've heard of it out there. So, and we're just looking for ways to get new customers.
Okay. So essentially, you know that the platform, I mean, there's 1 billion customers on there, or 2 billion potential customers. In your local market, there could be, I've just had a little bit of a look in your area. There's a couple 100,000 people you could reach out to. If we even did a little bit more checking, we could probably fine tune that audience. So I get why Facebook is attracted to you. Tell me, why have you chosen to talk to me about this today? Why me? You could have gone to many agencies, but you chose to talk to us. So what do you think, Nick?
Yeah, you know, I liked your approach when you reach out. You know, obviously, you know, we get hit up, you know, 100 times a day. But I liked how you approached it. I liked our initial call. So, and we really need new customers, and I'm not currently happy with my Facebook agency right now. They're sending crappy leads.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. So I just, from a perspective, because obviously, you know, we're all busy people. Why now? Why today? Why is it now important for you to put this into place for your business, for your practice?
Yeah, I mean, it's just right now there's too up and down. There's not enough new patient flow, and we want more patients. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. We're ready to grow. I just hired 2 new providers. I just opened up a new room, and we need to fill my provider's time.
Awesome. So those 3 questions right now, I've eliminated. Why am I doing this right now? Why this is important? I've eliminated why you. I've just told myself, look, you approached me professionally. It was really, you know, you made it very easy. I know I've talked to a whole bunch of people, but this sounds a little bit more unique. That's why I'm talking to you. Why now? We know we're up and down in our patient opportunities. We need to do something to be more consistent. We've got to have a way to get access. And I know that we can get access directly to the customers. So what you've done, Nick, right now is you've given me all the reasons why this is important to you now, right? And I've let you verbalize everything to me of why I'm doing this. So now you're not going to ask this question, why am I doing this? What you know, what's this? You're not going to ask the question, why me anymore? And you're not going to ask in your head, why is this important now? Because you've answered every objection. And these are subtle objections, because if I have to answer the question of why Facebook, if I've got to start teaching you or justifying Facebook as a solution, I'm now selling you, right? So now all of a sudden, I've gone from a conversation that we're having to me now trying to convince you that this is the right thing that you should be focusing on.
And it's pure psychological warfare. And it's so much more powerful to get them to say it than for you to tell them. Like, there's such a big difference between saying, yeah, you obviously you want to be on Facebook because it's where all the customers are. That's where everyone is. But when you ask them and they're psychologically saying it, there is a massive, massive difference amongst that. And you're eliminating the objection ahead of time. You know, and I love it. That's fantastic.
So this is, for them now, they're solid. They're kind of ready to listen, right, at this point in the conversation. So if we can just go back to the setting up and minimizing any objections before we get to this presentation call. You know, we're asking the high level questions, then we're going to make some rules, right? You know, you said this is important to you. So my question is, you know, what we're going to do is we're going to do a plan. We're going to show you an online marketing plan for your practice, right? But one of the things is, it's really important. I know that, you know, you're running your practice, you're the boss, but do you have a partner or do you have a spouse involved in practice?
I do not.
You don't. So great. Because what I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to put a plan together based on your objectives and the outcomes you're looking for. And at the end of that, I'm going to invite you, if you think this is the right fit for us, I'm going to invite you to work with each other. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, that sounds good.
So is it okay if I ask you to make a decision at the end of our presentation based on the diagnosis that we work on together? Is that cool?
Sounds good. Yeah.
Awesome. So in that moment, a couple of things. I've asked permission to ask you to buy before you even see the price, before you even see the program. You said to me, because I can now go, remember I asked you that if this is the right fit for you, that I can actually share the investment and how we can work together? Yes, great. So now the person's ready to share the investment and work together, right? So that's the first thing. Second, the reason I'm asking for a partner, right, is if you did have a partner, I would not show up for the call. I would say, we can't do this with you. we need to have a partner. The reason we have the partner involved is we're talking about strategy, we're talking about business, and because we're presenting this plan to you live, you've got the opportunity with your partner to be able to answer or ask any question, so I can give you the clarity and give you the ability to make the right decision so that you can make the right choice moving forward. Is that okay with you? And they go, I understand why I need the partner. So is it okay if I can set up a time very quickly to have a quick chat with them so that we can set a time together when we do the plan and the presentation for you, that we can actually make sure that we're answering all your questions and making sure that you both get the opportunity to make that decision together. Is that cool?
Sure, that works.
So it makes sense. Now, some people are going to say, well, look, my partner's cool with me. I'm very cool with a partner. I'm the only person that, I'm happy to make the decision.
Or my partner doesn't want to get on the calls. He doesn't deal with this stuff. That's
yeah. But thing is, that's a convenient out. Yeah. If I can't speak to that second partner, it's always going to be a convenient out. So if it's a dead stall, right, I'll say, look, I'm happy to do this presentation with you. And at the end of that, what I want to be able to do is I know you've got to have a conversation. If I can provide you with some details, I know you're going to have to share, but there's no way that you're going to be able to convey an hour of ideas that we've set aside to help you grow your practice. What I'd like to do is to have the opportunity to at least have a conversation with your partner so that they can ask the questions that they haven't been able to on the call. Is that okay with you? So I'm still going to do the presentation. I'm still going to ask you to buy. You may buy, right? If I get a partner issue, I've still got the opportunity, because one thing that you want to do is you want to close either on the spot or within 24 to 48 hours max. Yes. You don't want to close. It's not going to be closing next week. It's not going to be closing next month. If it's next week, if it's next month, it's a maybe, it's a no, right? We are either going to do this on the day or we're going to do this within 24 hours. And so I'll talk about the closing objections as we go through. So how do we minimize the objection of partner? We make sure the partner's there. We set that up. So right now, if we do get to the end of our presentation, the person said, look, I just want to run this by my partner. Well, you've eliminated that step right up front. You're not going to get shocked and go, oh shit, I forgot about the partner, right? So the partner should never be an excuse, right? I'll give you an example. I was pitching a really big deal. I actually had to fly to the city to do the presentation. And to do this presentation, we had to make sure there were 12 partners in the room. There were 12 people in the company and there were 12 partners in the room. I got to the meeting and there's 11 partners. One partner didn't show, right? And so I sat there for asking. I said, look, before I start, I just want to know where Bill is. Bill, right now, he couldn't make it. He's with another appointment. He couldn't make it. I said, great. I'm sorry to waste your time, gentlemen, but I'm going to leave. I'm not going to present to you. Because at the end of the day, is Bill an important part of this company? Is he a partner in this company? Is he part of the decision-making process of this company? What is the weight of his decision on the company? Well, it's actually pretty big because he's the second partner in the business. Awesome. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave you guys. I'm going to thank you for this time, but I'm going to fly back to Brisbane. And when you get Bill together, right, we can get this meeting together. I'll come back and I'll do this presentation. And they all looked at me like, are you kidding me? You're going to leave this room right now. There's 11 of us here that have shown up, right? And you're going to leave because Bill didn't show up? And I went, and they couldn't believe it. I said, and you're going to cover my airfare and you're going to give me a night's accommodation. Because at the end of the day, we're here to deal with the very thing that you said that was the most important thing. And we've taken 3 weeks to get this meeting together. So I've taken my day to be here to make sure that we're working together. So if that's not for you, that's fine. I understand. I'm out of here, right? 2 days later, I fly back. Bill is sitting there. They signed the deal, right? Go. Now that I would not recommend that for anybody, right? But at that stage, I was so pissed because I knew that they did that on purpose. I knew that they knew the whole setup was that they all had to be there. This was a meeting that they had set up. They knew. And they purposely made sure, Bill, as part of the strategy, made sure that they had an out on the deal. That's why. So if they've got an out, there was no deal on the table, nothing to be done.
It shows so much confidence because I know a lot of people would be extremely scared to reschedule a call if the partner's on there, but it just shows a lot. It shows you're not messing around. You're not taking up time. You're serious. You've got to start acting serious. The confidence that comes with that. And John, really quick, before we go down, we actually had a couple of people ask the 3 questions. Was that on the qualifying call or right when you get on the demo call? they're asking. What is
the 3 questions are on the demo call.
Oh,
So so if you're listening to this recording when we did the role play, are you okay with this hour? We're good for the hour. Then hey, you can say no at any time. I can say no at any time. Great. Let me ask you these 3 questions. Why this? Let them talk. Why you? Why us? Right? Let them talk. Why now? Right? This sells them. That is giving them the opportunity to sell themselves as to why they're serious about this now with you. And also, they're really telling you why Facebook is important to them, why they think it's important, right? They're telling you that the reason I chose you is because I like the way you approach this. I like your professionalism. I like, you look like you know what you're doing, right? So all the things, professional, set themselves apart. They look like they know what they're doing, right? Selling themselves on you. And why now? Why I need to do this today? Or why this is important right now? Well, we need the clients. We need the patients. We need to be consistent. We need to be bringing them in because at the end of the day, we're trying to grow a practice. We want to bring more practitioners into service. So you're writing down, right? We want to grow. We need more practice. We need more patients. We need, they're telling you why they're going to buy this, right? So that's the 3 questions. Why this? Why Facebook, right? Why AdWords? Why sales funnels, right? Why you? Why us? Why are you talking to me? Why have you set aside a time? Because if set aside, remember, you're busy, they're busy, it's an hour of your time. They're taking an hour out of their business. So it's serious enough for them to listen to you. So understand this is not just, we're just turning up. You are right now positioning that your time is valuable, and they understand that they're willing to give an hour of their time to listen to you as a complete stranger, right? To help you. So you've won that hour, but you want them to confirm, why am I doing this, right? And then why now? So that eliminates, that makes your whole sales presentation way easier, right, to get into it, right? So setting up the call, what's going to happen on the call, the expectations, right? You're going to make a decision. I'm going to ask you to make a decision. Is that okay with you? I'm going to show you a diagnosis.
Selling. I wanted permission-based. This is so freaking power. Anybody who's watching right now who saw my webinar for Agency Sales Crusaders, and quite a few of you guys I know actually joined us and joined me inside, I literally did this. If you go back and rewatch, I did it at the very beginning. If I show you a strategy that works, if you believe it, I hit all of these things, are you going to be willing to invest? I say that at the beginning. Anybody who saw that, it's all based on this permission-based selling stuff. This stuff works, guys. So sorry, I'm going to highlight a few things that I think are really important to go along here. So yeah,
I mean, we're going to spend an hour together, and we're going to be talking about your business, your plan, your opportunity. I'm going to show you how to actually maximize your opportunity. I'm going to show you how this could be free for you. And at the end of that, I'm going to ask you, is it okay if I ask you to work with us, right? That we can work together and actually implement and execute on the plan. Is that okay? Whether they say yes or no or indifferent doesn't matter. I just want to hear them say yes, which now means they're giving permission for me to show them how we're going to work together and what the investment's going to be. And that we're going to get a consideration, a decision on that call. Not tomorrow, not the next day, not a week from now, but on the call, right? So we're dramatically improving chance of getting permission. Next, the partner. Is it you? Do you have a partner? It's really important because this is a presentation that is designed for your practice. And if you're making strategic decisions on growing and you share that decision, it's really important that they're too, because they're going to get a lot out of this. And at the same time, they can ask questions that are relevant to them so that we're together and we're here at the time. And that's why we do a presentation. We don't do proposals. There's no point in proposing because that's a consideration. That means you're not serious. There's no point in even being here, right? So is that okay with you? Great, partner's in. No, I don't need a partner. I don't have a partner. It's just me. Good. So I've got permission to ask you, and I'm intimating that we're going to be working together, right? So I'm putting that in your head. And then I'm walking you through making sure that we're really clear about what's going to happen on that call, right? So we've eliminated a lot of stuff that generally tends to stop us. The third biggest objection, and sometimes it could be the first, in the physical therapy space, it's the biggest objection we get, partner. That's the number one objection we get. Sorry, got to talk to my partner, right? We do live events. We bring on 35, 40 clients in one hit. The ones that don't start, I've got to go back and talk to my partner. They're not here, right? And so we've got to we look at ways of eliminating that, or more importantly, get the partner to the event, right? But we definitely do that on calls. So when we're doing cold or outreach or even inbound, we ask that question. Look, it's really important. You've got a partner, people you're working in practice. Yes, yes, yes. Great. It's really important they're on the call. Is that cool? Yes. Now, if they say no, it's a no. Like, I will not even bother. There's no point, because I'm setting myself up for an out. And if they're already going into a situation thinking they can get out of it with, oh, let me talk to my partner, they're not interested. They're not keen, right? They're not fully committed to that process. So that's how we eliminate the objections. Something I want to talk about, Nick talks about a lot, and this is what we're doing here. We're doing training, right? Right now, I'm in the middle of reconstructing an entire sales pitch for our program, because we ask people to spend $50,000 to rent a funnel from us, right? So I'm restructuring that. Now, I've been doing this for 30 years, right? Professionally. I've been selling for 30 years professionally in terms of consulting services. I am still brushing up on my selling skills. I am still going back and looking at stuff from Tom Hopkins, Jeff Gittimore, who's awesome with the Little Red Book of Selling, Joe Girard, Grant Cardone, Joe Vitale, John Logar, Nick Robbins. Like, I'm listening and I'm learning because I want to sharpen my skills. I want to think about the conversation. We are in a sales process. Your whole purpose is not to sell them, is to help them. It's to help them bridge the gap. When I go to people, I'm not here to, I say to people, listen, if I'm here to sell you, we ain't working together, right? I'm here to help you. You want some help? I'll help you. You got a problem? If we can fix that problem and we can make it easy for you to execute or put something in place, then I guess the best thing we can do is make that happen. Is that fair?
Absolutely.
I go, yes.
And I want to jump in there because I love this conversation so much, because there's so much negativity, and especially outside this agency world around sales, and even inside it. A lot of people have negative connotation, but all we should be doing is selling a future event for the prospect. We find out where they are, where do they want to go, and if we can help them get there, we need to do everything in our power to influence and move them and sell that future event to them and implant that future inside the mind. All selling is selling futures, and that's across the board, right? You're just selling a future event, future pacing. I talk about this a lot on here, you know, and we got to sell. Like, it's important. The world doesn't work without it. We don't have nice stuff without selling. Like, get over your fear of selling if you have one.
Well, you're gonna, and again, this is a learned skill. This is why I listen. Like, you know, I don't talk the way I do. I mean, one of the guys I really love is a guy called Tom Hopkins. He wrote a book called How to Master the Art of Selling. I built a $12 million agency on the first 4 chapters of that book. I took the first 4 chapters and devised our sales process and strategy around those first 4 chapters. Now, he sells real estate. I was selling marketing, right? So all I did was structure our process around those first 4 chapters. $12 million worth of revenue a year because of those 4 chapters in a book.
Selling is about patterns. It is about knowing psychology. As soon as you know enough about the industry, you can take it and you can repeat it just about everywhere else. Just to be able to speak some of the lingo, it works everywhere. My blueprints, my templates, 5 completely random different industries have already made 5 and 6 figures plus. Like, that's what it's all about, man. And I've spent over $100,000 on training in the last 18 months out of my own pocket, because I'm still looking to get better. Like, and I'm always spending money.
I'm still hopping on, you know, I'm going to conferences. I'm listening, you know, I go and listen to the sales guys. I look and I think, oh, that's an interesting way of phrasing that. Let's give that a shot. And guess what? It freaking works, right? So it is a learned skill. There's no natural born sellers. There's a great story that Zig Ziglar tells about his kid being a natural born seller, but nobody's a natural born salesperson. It is very much a learned skill. You've got to be a psychologist. You've got to be a consultant, an assessor, a friend, all these things. And you've got to do that on the spot, on your feet, right? So that means that you need to practice, infuse, and learn.
And the other thing on this, right, because I know there's people on this call who are afraid of selling right now, so I'm actually glad we're having a quick one. You don't have to be some sort of crazy extrovert either. You can be introverted. Some of the best salespeople I've ever met are introverted. Yes, just because you see me waving around, rah, you know, you guys should see my old videos. Like, it took me a long time before I actually got good at being on video and stuff. You got to do it over and over again, and anyone can be good. It's sales. It takes work. It's a skill set. That's all I'm gonna say. You don't have to be extroverted. Introverted can still be amazing salesmen if you know how to pull the levers and sell the future. And like you said, you help push people towards where they're gonna go. You find out where they are, where they want to be, bridge the gap. That's it. You know, like, I mean, in a nutshell, that's the high level overview. So,
and those conversations can be really, really easy. You're like, you know, I sat down with a guy Man, I'm a stalker, right? I'll say this openly. I'll say this in this little community, right? Because I travel so much. I stay at a lot of hotels, and I tend to stay at a lot of business hotels when I travel. So I'll stay at the Hyatts, the Crown Plazas, the Four Seasons, those sorts of places. The reason I stay at those sorts of places is because there's lots of business travelers. And so I'll give you an example. I was at the Marriott Hotel, which is a 5-star hotel in Sydney. I was traveling and I was checking out, right? Like I was literally going down, and I was on a high floor because I like staying on a high floor. And a guy hops in the elevator with me, and he's in a suit and he's got a thing. And this is just me. I'm just explaining how accidentally you can fall into a sale, right? So this is me. Most people don't talk to people in elevators, and I'm kind of really shy, but sometimes I'll say stupid stuff, right? So this is the stupid thing that I said to the guy. I said, I hope you don't have as far away to go get home as I do, right? Do you have a great trip? I hope you don't have to go as far to get home as I do. And he says, oh man, I've got to go to Boston. I'm thinking, wow, I've just got to go to Brisbane. It's like an hour away. So what are you doing here in Boston? Now we're on an elevator ride, right? We're an underwriting company. We're working on major projects here in Sydney for construction, and we do insurance underwriting. We actually have project risk management services, and we want to establish an office. Oh, that's awesome. So how long have you been coming back and forth? Oh, we've been doing this for a year. We're opening up an office next month, and that's why I'm here. Cool. So you're expanding operation from Boston. That's amazing. And he says, so what do you do? And I said, it's funny you should mention that. I help Boston-based insurance underwriting companies establish their client and lead opportunities within the Australian markets. And then the guy laughed at me, right? And I said, look, hey, I hope your travels are awesome and I hope everything's good. Do you have a card? And he gave me his business card and I handed him my card, right? So he goes off to check out. I go to sit down on a bench. I don't go to check out. I'm about to go to check out. I go on a bench, hop on my phone. Now I've got his business card. So what I did was I found a thing about, like I literally searched online, construction RFPs or project RFPs in Australia. And there was a free website that has all these RFPs. And I say, hey, if you look, so all I did was take a link from that thing, send him a text message. Hey, I was just thinking about what you said. And if you're looking for a whole bunch of RFPs, here's a link. There's a page that's full of major construction and development jobs here in Sydney. It might be worthwhile, if you're not aware of them already, looking at. Love to chat more about what you're trying to do from an expansion point of view here in Australia. Thanks, John, right? So, elevator dude. So I watch him literally hop in a cab, right? We walk past me, hop in a cab. And as he's hopping in a cab, my text message hits his phone. I can see him pull out his phone. So he sees my thing, right? And so then he's on a cab ride and he's going, and he checks, obviously he's checked the link. About 5 minutes later, wow, you're quick. Hey, love to talk. I've got to head back to Boston. I'm going to be there. It's going to take me 2 or 3 days to kind of settle in. If you want to call me on Thursday, right? Let's make a time to speak on Thursday, right? So that became a $45,000 email marketing engagement, right? Anything. The thing is opportunities everywhere, right? He didn't know me from a bar of soap. A little bit of professionalism, a little bit of set yourself apart, try and help out. Hey, I don't know if this is working for you. I don't know if we can work together. But hey, sometimes the people you bump into, you can help. I cannot tell you the number of people I've accidentally picked up as clients just by being in elevators. I used to make a joke. I've got to hang around 5-star lobbies waiting for clients to come out of the elevator doors. But the idea of that is from an incidental point of view, if you have the philosophy of wanting to help, you're opening yourself the opportunity to the business opportunities. If you place yourself in an environment where there are business opportunities, they're going to smack you on the face. It's not you going out there. They're going to be jumping onto you. So getting back to objections, 3 more things, right? You need to convince people to know, like, and trust you. So you got to build that trust really quick, right? So if I like you, I trust you, I'm going to work with you, right? The second thing is they've got to determine in their head, can you help me? So you have to demonstrate that you can actually help them, right? And then the third thing you've got to answer in their head is, will this work for me, right? So the know, like, and trust you is your professionalism, the fact that you did your homework on them and took care, that you understand what their objectives are, why their objectives are important, what they're committed to, what the roadblocks are, so you understand, right? So you have that affinity and rapport. That's the know, like, and trust you. This guy gives a crap, likes what I do, wants to help me. I like people who want to help me, right? and people want to help them. So you're building that know, like, and trust very quickly. A presentation allows you to do that. Preparing a presentation with a value stack, all those sorts of things, that builds that, hey, this is professional. This is stepping out and setting yourself apart. This is not me throwing a proposal. This is me paying attention and delivering to you an outcome that you desire as part of the thing we're working on together. So can you help me? Yes, you're going to demonstrate with your solution. Will it work for me? Hey, you're going to demonstrate that with either reverse engineered strategy, or you're going to demonstrate with clients you've already worked with, right? Those are the questions that you need to ask. Do I like and trust you? Can you help me? And will this work for me? You need to answer those questions through your sales process, right? So if I could just walk through, because this is an easy way to sell, right? And eliminate the whole objection thing, and then I'll answer some more questions. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So if I looked at a really basic presentation, what is the primary objective? When we ask the above level questions, we want 4 more patients per month or week. We want 20 new clients. We want 50 inquiries a month, right? What's the objective, right? So what's your key objective, right? The next question is, why that objective? Why is it important? Are you looking to expand? Do you need more people, more stuff for your team? Why are you doing this? Why that number? Why is it important? What are you going to do with the money? What are you going to do with the extra sales? What are you going to do with the leads? Right? So in their head, well, it's important because we've got a third quarter objective, or we're doing some expansion, we're opening up a new location. They tell you all the reasons why that objective is absolutely right. Third thing, what's the roadblock? If that's important and you want that outcome, what's stopping you from getting that right now? What's holding you back?
Right here. This is a new one, John. we haven't talked about this. This one we've been putting in. This is so important, man. I just wanted to take a stop on this because this is someone that people might be scared to ask. Why can't you do it right now? What's stopping you from reaching your goals right now? This is going to be super important for killing objections at the end. Well, you already told me why you couldn't do it right now. You're working, blah, blah, blah. So I love that one, and I'm going to highlight it because I know that there's people who are going to be a little nervous about asking that one. What's stopping? If you're asking, what's wrong with them?
Yeah, but this is your objective. This is why it's important to you. And right now, you're not achieving that outcome. So what are the roadblocks? Yep. What's the bottleneck? What's holding us up? And they're going to go, this isn't right. This isn't here. We don't have this. They're going to tell you all the things they don't have, right? Why it's not working, why they can't do it. They need you, right? They need help, right? So they're confirming that this is what's going on, right? So can I just role play the next section with you?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yep. So I'm going to give you the pretext, right? So you can be doctor. We go back to the thing. Look, we need consistency in patient opportunities, right? That's the first one. That's a roadblock. We're not getting that right now. Yeah. We need to be found. We need people to see and visible and see us as the experts. We want to be recognized as people that provide this service and are experts in our field. So we need to read recognition. Go on.
We need better leads.
And we need better leads. Okay, so we need better leads. All right. So what we're going to do is, you've told me we're not getting this right now. These are roadblocks, right? So if I can share just 3 simple ideas with you, Nick, you can choose which one's important. Is that cool?
Okay.
All right. So you said to me that you need better leads. So essentially, if we were able to clarify the type of lead that you're looking for, so we've got an avatar, we can identify that audience, and more importantly, target and offer a message that makes it easier to engage. That would be useful to you, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Right. The second thing is, you want to build a reputation as an expert in your field and your market. So if we can actually demonstrate the fact that you are the person of expertise in stem cell therapy in that community or in your market, by allowing them to connect with you visually and see that you're more than just somebody trying to push just stem cell injections, that would be helpful to your practice, wouldn't it?
It would. Awesome. Although I do want to say, John, when we're talking back to the target messages thing, they need to have money. Everyone get right now is on Medicaid.
So you want people that ultimately, you're saying that you're looking for cash-based people.
Yes.
Yeah. So, or people who have a higher insurance, not Medicaid. Yeah. So if we had a system to target, identify, not on Medicaid, cash-based, that would be useful. Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. Second thing is you want to be recognized as the expert in your field. There's a lot of people doing what you do. You're competing against a whole bunch of practices, but you want to be identified. So if we can position you as the primary person who does this, so you're visible, so people tap you on the shoulder at the supermarket and say, hey, I saw you on YouTube or I saw you on Facebook, that's going to be useful for the branding and messaging for your practice as well, wouldn't it?
Yes.
All right, awesome. And thirdly, not every single person is going to buy on the spot. Right? We all like to think that they buy on the spot, but understand that wouldn't it be good that if we can answer the questions that maybe they haven't had the opportunity to ask you because they didn't engage you, that we can actually nurture that relationship and down the track maybe open the door, because every person that hasn't contacted, they already had an interest. There's a reason why they responded to the ad. They just didn't go through with the steps to sit down with you. That doesn't mean they didn't want to buy. They've got questions and they need those questions answered. So if we had a system to nurture those people, to give them the answers, to bring them back, to schedule an appointment at a later time, would that be helpful as well?
Yeah, I think that would be good. I think that's a good idea.
Awesome. So of the three ideas, the targeting the patient, the money, or making you the public expert, or making sure that we're capitalizing on every lead, which of those is most important to you?
You know, we've worked with other Facebook companies and the leads are just crap. So it would definitely be the targeted Facebook lead.
Great. So if I shared a plan with you that focused on giving you a high quality prospective customer or patient that is interested, has the money, is going to not use Medicaid as part of that process, that would be something that would be very useful to your practice.
Absolutely.
And if I could show you how that pays for itself, literally within the first patient, would that be helpful?
Yeah, that would be great.
Awesome. Great. So now guess what I'm just going to talk about in my presentation?
Targeting.
That's it.
Yeah.
I don't need to tell them about email marketing or all that other stuff. I don't need to tell them about, making you the expert. I'm just going to go zero into exactly what you want, because now,
Yep, I love that. And this is really important. So I want to add on to this here, guys, because what he's done is focusing on what matters to the person so often. And I've talked about this here, and I made a post about it not too long ago. We are like, oh, we're going to do email marketing. We're going to do this. We're just shoving services down their throat, which, one, they probably don't understand half of what we're saying. They don't know what a pixel is. They don't know what any of this stuff is. Two, we don't need to force, yeah, we can have great add-ons, but don't focus on what doesn't matter. A lot of us have pretty complex stuff. It might seem simple to us, but it's complex to these guys. They don't get it. So he's focusing on the one part that actually matters to this person, because you can tell there's pain there. Because give me a one if anybody said that Facebook leads suck, if any clients have ever said that before, because I know that that's huge, right? And that's a pain point for a lot of people. But it's so important, guys, because that way you're not wasting your time on things that don't matter to the person. And in some people, it's going to be the authority one. What we've been saying over here for a while, for about like 6 months now, is we call them the rock stars in the market. We turn them into the rock stars in their local area, and build their brand up by having them see everywhere in visual. And they do tend to love it, but it's way more important to some people than it is to others. And guess what? If we find out, like, yeah, that'd be awesome, I love that, I see Dr. X over here, guess what? We're going to continue talking about that, because as you said earlier, you're like balancing psychology and having to stand on the feet. You're doing a lot of things at once when you're selling, right? But the goal is to ask some questions, to extract information, to use as ammo to use later in order for your presentation, so that you can, boom, avoid the objections. I just wanted to point that out, right? Because so many people waste so much time on stuff that doesn't matter, the client doesn't care about, or doesn't even know, what's going on,
Yeah. So now I've got this one thing, and we're zeroing in what you said is the most important thing. Now all I've got to do is I've got to show you who we do this for, right? We do it for you, right? I've got to show you roughly a little bit about how we do this. I don't need to go into too much how, but the what and the why, this is important, right? And I've got to demonstrate to you that it's worked for others just like you, right? This works. Facebook works. It gets patients. It gets clients. It's just the strategy you've been using right now, Nick, hasn't been working for you. And there are many reasons why that occurs, right? But at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we're demonstrating that this is a reality, and our strategy is designed to get to get the result, right? So oftentimes, so before you commit to anything, right? I'll say, right? I just want to make sure that you know how we help you, right? What we do to bring those new patients, and the automated system that we use that you're about to see, and to help you to do some key things that'll support your ideas for the future growth of your practice. Is that okay?
Sounds good.
So now I've got permission, right? So you said you can see my screen. Great. I'm going to share a demonstration of what we do. So we bring the slide deck in, and this is it. So we're going to demonstrate. Right? This is who we work with. This is what we've done. This is how we help you. This is how they felt about it. right? Okay. This is just a structured process, right? So we share the system, we show, landing page, Facebook ad, here's what an email looks like. We go through a little bit of demonstration, right? You get through the deck, right? And just so, now I'm going to phrase this, and I know we're recording this so people can go back to this, right?
Yeah.
If you've got a handful of customers, if you've got some testimonials, it doesn't have to be not case studies, just testimonials. Like Mary, hey, I started with Nick. They were amazing. I cannot believe how many patients we're getting. This thing just works on autopilot, right? Mary, since we've been using Nick's team system, it's just made it so much easier for us working with non-Medicaid patients. So it's like, just really quick, I can't believe the difference in our business. This stuff works. I wish we had done this years ago. We used to use a really bad agency. These guys are amazing, right? They just completely changed the game. So we have a few testimonials, right? So here's a really important question that I'm stating. And the reason why I'm sharing this is so that there is clarity around in their head that this is a yes. We want in their head, look, if this works out, this is a yes for me, right? This is the psychology, right? So just so you know, what I'm asking you to do is not something that we think will work, right? Just so you know, what I'm asking you to do is not something that we think will work. What I'm asking you to do is something that we've asked hundreds, in your case, thousands of practices to do, and they said yes. And here's what they had to say once after saying yes. And then you show your testimonials. Right? This is an old Sandler school strategy, Sandler tactic. And so, okay, some testimonials, some case studies. Doesn't matter if you've got 3, doesn't matter if you've got 5, you've got 8. If you can get to 5 and 8, right? If you don't have anybody just starting out, you can do this a different way, right? But if you've got them, use them. I work with an agency. They had one case study. They grew to $3 million, and they only used that one case study. They never showed any other case studies.
And get the testimonials, guys. I sometimes tell people, work for free if you need to. It helps with confidence, whatever you got to do.
Yep.
Get the testimonials, pay for them. Once you have them, pay $100. Whatever you got to do, get the testimonials, get the videos. They matter so much for the leverage, especially in this day and age. It's absolutely critical. I tell everyone to do that. I just want to make big money. You got to get them. But you don't need them. That's the other side of the coin. If you don't have anything, got 0 clients, don't worry. You can still get clients. It's okay.
Yeah. So in the thing, if I've got 5 or 8, I know I'll keep a couple on my sleeve, and I'll say, hey, look, I've got more, but do you get the point? Right? These people said yes, and it worked for them. Yes. Right. So now, would you like me to show the program that we have that'll help you achieve the outcome you're looking for? Right. Before I show you this, is it worthwhile even me showing you this?
Yep.
Do you want to hop off now and get and go, or do you really want to do this? Are you really interested in committing to yourself and your business? No, I want to do this. Show me the slide. Right.
Yep.
Right. Okay. Now you show your value stack. You go through the value stack.
Yep.
So.
Okay, sorry, Keith. No, I was just going to show you, this is just so important. You want to do it at the beginning. I want to make sure everyone's clear on when to do this specific part. You want to do this at the beginning before you get into your thing. Like what we do before we get on, right on the pitch, and I'm going to share my screen really quick so you guys can see. We literally walk through and go like, look, here's where we've all worked with. We've got 15 to 20 patients new month, 10 to 12 new patients right here. We walk them through because you're pre-framing them as soon as you're getting them in. You're getting them very excited. You're making them believe. And these are video testimonials as well, because then we know you can go in and actually see real live doctors. And then we bring them, over to the rest of our demonstration and practice. It is fascinating, and it works so well to help build them up and get them excited.
Yeah, absolutely. So, one of the questions that I like to ask, so you've done the demonstration, you've gone and opened the opportunity. Can I show you the next slide? Sometimes I might get to a point and I just want to make sure I want to do a health check, right? Is what I've shown you right now, can you see how that's going to get you the results you're looking for? Yes. Can you see why we do the homework, get the strategy right, the planning? We've got somebody monitoring those ad campaigns. This is not something that anybody can do. Facebook made 450 changes to their ad platform last year. If you're trying to run your own campaigns, this is why most campaigns fail. And this is why people say Facebook sucks, right? So understand that we have a system and a model that can get the result you're looking for. Is that what you're after? Yes. You want this machine, don't you? Yes, I want this machine, right? So then you go, great. So oftentimes, so where do you think we should go to from here? And I'll just shut up, right? Want this, want that. And they go, oh, I don't know. You tell me, right? Now, this is an old Sandler selling technique. Where do you think we should go to from here? The reason why you're asking this question is you don't want to push the person into the next stage. You want them to invite you to help them with the next stage. So all it is a polite question. So, hey, what you picked up is great. What you've seen is awesome. So where do you think we should go to from here? And sometimes people will say, literally walk themselves into a close. Sometimes on that question, they're going to say, so how do we work together? How do we get this thing started? They'll literally say to you, how do we get this thing started? Yep. Right? And so you'll go, great. Is it okay if I walk you through how we work together? Is that cool? Yes. Right. So now it doesn't become about the price. It's like, this is how we start. This is how we work together. Right? And so then you can walk them through your value and pricing and do it that way. Sometimes it might be, so how does it work with us? Right? So you can explain, this is how we work with our clients, this is what we do, right? Where do you think we should go to from here? Great. How much is this going to cost me? Excellent. So is it okay if I walk you through the investment? Yes. Notice I'm not trying to be polite and I'm not trying to be pedantic, but I just want to be I want to be nice. And so they go, wow, this guy's really polite. Like he's asking me permission to ask a question, right? It sounds like a stupid thing, but the reason I'm asking the question is not because I'm being polite. I'm asking the question is because when they say yes, they lean in to listen to what you have to say.
Yes.
I'm asking you, look, is it okay if I show you this? Is that okay with you? They go, of course. Great. Now they're going to watch what you have to show them, right? So all we're doing is we're walking them into the situation of stepping into buying, right? So now I don't know how you work. One of the things that we do is we just literally say, look, let me show you. So they go, how do we work together? That's great. Well, let me show you the agreement that our clients go through to work with us. Is it okay if we bring that on? Now, just hit an email. We use a thing called Panda Docs. I don't know if there's DocuSign, there's all these sorts of things. But we use Panda Docs, and it sends them a document. And then you can slide on the screen, because you can open up the same document and walk together through the document. And in the document, it tells them, this is what we will do, and this is what you will do. One of the challenges that people say is the leads suck, right? So we sit there and say, we agree to only send you leads where people are not Medicaid, are putting up their hand and they want your help, right? And more importantly, they're interested in the offer that you've got. That's the only leads that we can send you, and they are within a 10-mile radius of your practice. Yep. I'll sign that off there, right? Next, you agree to follow up every person as quickly as possible. So you either have a team member or yourself following up that call within 2 to 3 minutes. Yep. Sign off, right? You agree that you need to nurture, provide the right information, give supporting information, and help that person to buy your services. Yes, it sounds stupid, but these are like little quick line items, right? So all we're doing is so we don't have a disagreement. Yeah, you've agreed. You're very clear. We're right up front. I even go, to minimize the objections of saying, well, how many leads am I going to get? So look, typically for our clients, we do anywhere between, at the least we will do is 30, but we generally will get between 80 and 100 opportunities, every single patient opportunities for our clients. Now from there, you might get 100 opportunities, but you're not going to get 100 patients, right? Let's be real, right? So at the end of the day, what's going to happen is maybe 30 or 40 of those patients don't pick up the phone, don't show up to a call, don't do what you want them to do, but they've put their hand up. However, I'm going to explain how we look after them in a moment. But there are some people going to put their hand. So out of 100, let's say you've got 40 people that are interested. Now, the 40 people, if I put 40 people in front of you, Doc, right, who are wanting help, or if I put 10 people in front of you, Doc, how many of those do you think will become a client? And they'll say, look, within reason, probably 2, right? So if I put 40 people in front of you, you're telling me you're roughly going to get 8 patients. And 8 patients to you right now is worth about $40,000 or $50,000, right? But here's the thing. I also want you to understand, because I want to give you the right sorts of expectations, is that these leads that you didn't close or you didn't sell are going to be looked after so that you can create another opportunity, because not everybody's ready to buy right now. You're experiencing that, right? So ultimately, you're going to improve your business. And right now, as a practice owner, you get a lot of referrals. Every new customer we bring in opens more referrals. It allows a compound effect to double and triple the size of your business. Is that fair? Great. So I just want to make sure you're really clear about what's going to happen with those leads.
Yeah.
So there's no, shit leads not converting, all that sort of
Here's
stuff.
the other thing that's really big with that we've been doing. So it's similar to what you just said right there with the referrals, but start talking about the amount of eyeballs that are seeing it, the impressions.
Yeah.
Your foot traffic is going to be up. You're going to get more people out. We really are branding your market. Everybody, Facebook is the new walking down the street, right? Because they're literally walking down the street. Now they're just staring at Facebook. So they're going to see you over and over again. You're building that familiarity, and that's going to stack over time. Sell that perceived value and some of that perception. It all will 100% add up. And I love it, man. And the idea of bad leads as well. And John, you had originally told me this, and I love this. It's impossible for it to be a bad lead if you physically, now this is a little different with lead forms, but if you physically have them click off of Facebook and put a name, email, and phone number underneath a specific offer that you're looking for. Like, that is a good lead. Do they have the specific condition that you're looking for? Yes. Can you help them? Yes. Then it's your duty to help them, right? Like, I mean, it's literally, you know, that's, I'm sure it's from you there. Like, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Because it's so.
I always say to people, the only person I can send to you is somebody who's put up their hand and say, I need help. That's the lead. That's the type of lead you want, isn't it? Yes. So if we put up an offer for the ailment or for the thing that you want, and they put up their hand and they've taken the time to fill in their email, put in their phone number, right? Think about it. You put yourself in that person's shoes. Are you thinking about drapes instead of stem cell surgery when you're filling that form? Yep. No. Right now, you've got an offer that I'm interested in. So at that moment, I've got a peak interest. That's why I'm saying you need to converse with them within the first 3 to 5 minutes.
Yes, exactly. And on that, we've got a couple questions here, John. I'm sure we can open it up. Guys, start asking your questions on objections as well. One thing I want to mention, because in this day and age, with a lot of the business you talk to, a huge objection is going to be Facebook lead quality. And it really does all come down to how the leads are handled. So John touched upon it. I always like to take it even a step further to the point where you are going to have a quick onboarding with the staff. You're going to tell them how to follow up, what to say, and give these guys scripts for their market. Have stuff set up for them. We went to the point, we went absurd, where we actually built a 10-hour training course for the front desk, for the lead handling training, so that we could train the front desk on how to actually handle the leads. And you address this early on, because early on you can shift back weight on the business owner if they screw up with the leads, right? Not everybody does, but there's a certain percentage that do. You're like, Mr. Business Owner, we talked about this in the beginning. We need to work on this. This is going to be huge for your retention, guys, as well, for keeping people happy long-term. If they understand and they know going into it that it is going to take a little bit of time for them to get used to the leads, to get used to the whole process, and then they're going to be up and running and chugging. It helps a lot for retention. Never oversell just for a month. That will destroy your agency with month-long. We've had plenty issues in the past with that. So just trust me, don't do it. Never, not with overselling, just with people struggling with leads. So it's always a very touchy subject. So address it early, address it often, and literally, if you do that, most marketing companies aren't even bringing up leads or the quality of them or how to handle them or that type of stuff. Maybe they might say they're calling in 5 minutes, but they're not talking about the lead handling or how you want to do it, and setting proper expectations. So important. The people will love you for it, because they're not going to go in expecting to make $150K for a $3,000 investment. They know what they're looking at, and they know it's going to be on them. And you can always shift it back on them, because a lot of times they do miss poorly handle them, right? But you can remind them, train them, and you can it's a big thing long term. Yeah.
The other thing also, we actually sell that to our clients. So we say, hey, we have a training program, it's $10,000, but that $10,000 is worth one patient, So that's something we do. So yes, you're indoctrinating them. We take them through an agreement. Now at the end of the agreement in Panadoc, you can actually have a payment link. So we ask in our case, we ask for a setup fee, and then the monthly fee, and then they've got to give us a minimum ad spend. So we walk them through and say, great, this is your initial installment. Now, at the end of every month, you're going to be billed $4,000 a month, plus we need a minimum requirement of $1,500 to $2,000 in ad spend, right? And they literally sign off on it, on the form, right? They're doing this in front of my eyes. And then when they sign, they say, hey, guess what? You're in. We're working together. This is awesome, right? This is what's going to happen next, right? And away we go through that process. We'll send a text message or we'll send an email with a video saying, hey, welcome aboard, blah, blah. And then we go through a whole other process of 100 days of nurturing the clients so they stay.
Yeah, we'll have to bring it back for an onboarding call as well at some point, man. I would love to share what we do for onboarding. I know you do. You have an extensive one. We've had to mess around with that a lot.
Yeah. So 3 objections. And we've talked about the partner. We've eliminated the partner, right? Yep. If we get the partner objection at the end of our sale, we have to talk to the partner. I've got 9 times out of 10, I would want to do the presentation again with the partner, right? I don't. That's the way to maximize the opportunity. But if you think you're at 100% with a person who says, I like this idea, but I just got to run it by my partner, right? As soon as that person goes to the partner, we don't know what that relationship is. We don't know if it's an adversarial one. We don't know if they hate each other or like each other, right? And so generally what happens, the person that's interested in wanting to grow the practice is the one that shows up. The person that's a pain in the ass is the partner, right?
Yeah.
So the very person that you need to be friends with is the arsehole, right? Or the arset, depending on who that is. So partner is a big thing. I always want to get the person on a call and answer questions. I don't send proposals to people. We pitch. If I do send something, it'll just be a bullet point of what we talked about, right? And that's it. No price,
yeah.
right? So time is a big one. You know what? This is the right time for us, or we've got a couple of other projects happening right now. We're trying to finish something off. Can we do this in like 2 months' time or 3 months' time, right? So if that comes up, your sale is dead, right? Because if you go, oh look, okay, great, let's revisit this, and you let them go, in 2 or 3 months' time, they're not going to buy it because something else is going to be in the way, right? I'm going to share with you a really simple way to handle this objection, right? Say, hey, let me just give you the metaphor of the traffic lights, right? There's always going to be another project you're working on. There's always something that's going to be a priority in what you're doing, and I understand that. And there's never going to really be a good time. Just like traffic lights, if we're on the road, not all the traffic lights turn green exactly the same time. There's always going to be stops along the way. They're going to stop us. So if we allow something that is stopping us from the very thing that we said that we actually wanted, and I just want to bring you back to what you said. You said, hey, you want the leads, you want the quality, you want the consistency. At the end of the day, the majority of work is done by us. You're still selling. You still need to handle clients today, Nick, don't you?
So we got one based on time. Me and Kyle have gone back and forth for 8 months because this is actually the one that we run into the most, because we eliminate a lot and we close really high.
Yeah.
This one has been one that's tricky for us. And sometimes we can lose with it. What do we do? What would you do when somebody says, I'm in a contract, I'll call you back next month? All right, in 2 months. I have 2 months left of my contract, my marketing contract that I'm in. And then all of a sudden the contract guys will be, I'll give you $1,000 off, you stick for an extra month because, whatever. Yeah. So what do you do about the contract?
If I'm stuck in the contract, right, my thing is, look, I'd be doing this side by side.
Yeah, that's what we try.
I'd be doing this side by side. I mean, right now you're sitting there. I'm in a contract. I'm in agreement. I want to get you leads. You're here because you said you want to generate leads. Yeah. Right. Right. Great. So let's generate the leads. Yeah. Pull the ad spend. Right. Let's run this side by side, or let's run this campaign side by side. Let's run up to speed, and let's see what happens. Right. Yeah. That's way to get across. I'm in a contract. That's not a time thing. That's okay. I'm in an agreement. But you don't have the strategy right now. The strategy we've outlined for you is a strategy that's very different from what you're experiencing. And what we're putting into place is a system, because we're here for the long haul. I'm not here for a couple of months. I'm here because we want to work with you. If I'm giving you a system that's consistently generating new patients, are you going to stop that? No, I'm not going to stop that. You're going to keep going, aren't you? Yeah, I'm going to keep going. Great. Right? So you know this is going to work for you, don't you? Yep. Great. So let's do it side by side. Right? Depending on how much meat I put into the program, right? Because we charge high, right? Depending on how much meat that I put into the management fee. First of all, my thing is, can you get out of your contract and get an agreement? Yeah. Because most contracts, most agreements, no one's going to hold you to. Like, I don't want to, one, you can go back and look at an agreement that says if we don't get your results, there's always an out in an agreement, right? You've got to give notice. You've got to let people know. I've signed an agreement. In that agreement, it says I've got to give them notice before I pull out, right? So there's always something like that in an agreement. You can't just go, no, because by law, they have to give you an out, right? By law. So sometimes it's a month, right? And I'll say, look, I'll tell you what, I'll cover your next month's contract. Let's do this, right? That's enough. As long as I've got meat, I've got to have a higher price to do that. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll cover that for the next month. Let's get going, right?
That one,
That's another one. If I've got only if I've got meat, I'm not going to sacrifice my profit, right? But if I've got a significant amount of meat, especially if there's a big setup fee, then what's your agreement? I have to pay him $1,000 a month. Great, I'll cover that. Right, you're out. Let's get going. Right, so that I can take that out of the setup fee. Right, the setup fee is arbitrary. Right, it's just that there are things that we need to do, and there are expenses that we incur, and at the end of the day, we're committing to tailoring a solution to that business. So there is a fee for that. There are people involved to set that up for a client. We charge for that. We don't give it away for free. Right. So that gives us a meet. What is your agreement for the month? Tell them that you're going to finish in a month. Give them advance warning, and we'll cover that cost. Right. Let's deduct that from your setup fee right now. Right. Boom. You're in. Okay. So that's another way to handle it.
And we do have some questions here as well too, man. Do you have more that you wanted to cover on that?
The money objection is one of my favorite objections.
Oh yeah.
I love the money.
Yeah. This is the best one. Yep.
Okay, so some people say, hey, that's a little bit more expensive than I thought it was. There's two ways to avoid this: price anchoring, right? Right up front, they're talking about how much a customer is worth to them. This is what you want to know. And so, for example, if we're talking to a practice, average patient's worth what per injection, per service? $5,000. So one patient's going to spend $5,000 with you, and sometimes more, depending on whatever the treatment is, right? So $5,000. Look, at the end of the day, if you give me one patient and I give you 5, is that cool?
Yeah.
So if you give me the cost of one patient per month and I give you 5 patients back every time you do that, is that a good deal?
Yeah.
When do you want to? Should we start doing that now?
What kind of car do you want to put that on? Yeah.
Exactly, right. So that's one. I'm anchoring the price. Look, at the end of the day, we're talking about giving you 50 opportunities. You told me you're going to close 10. That's $50,000 to you. You're giving us 5 and getting 50. Is that cool? Yes. It's not. We want to make this a no-brainer, right? This is not costing you. This is an investment. Our focus is to give you an ROI. Your focus is to help those people get those stem cell injections. Is that cool? Yes. So the money's irrelevant, right? Now, so here's the thing. Another way to close the money, right? Because I'll sit there and say, I want to deal with the I need to think about it close, right? Because it's always going to be about the money, right? So the money deal, price anchor, and say, look, at the end of the day, this thing should cost you nothing, right? If you're making more back than you're paying out, it's costing you nothing, right? It's an investment, okay? That's the way you want to look at this. And if we're consistently bringing patients, can you see the compounding effect of the growth of your practice if you do this? Absolutely. It makes sense. Great. So let's get started. So the other thing is I need to think about it. But when they say I need to think about it, they're not thinking about your product, your program. They're thinking about the money. It's another money objection. I need to think about it, right? Some people genuinely need to think about things, and that's okay, right? But oftentimes, I want to be really clear, is it, are they, I genuinely need to think about it, or are they, this is a stalling technique, right? It's more expensive. It's about the money, right? So here's what I do. I'll sit and say, look, I understand. I actually double cross them. I agree with them. Yes, you need to think about it, right? Of course. You're making a decision, right? And they all of a sudden they go, okay, great. He's letting me think about it, right? But before I let you go, I just want to clarify a couple of things, right? I want to make sure that, because you said that this was important to you at the very beginning, you said you need to do this. You said that this was important to you and this is a critical part of your business. And you said that if we had a way of showing you how we can achieve that outcome, that's something that you want to actually put into place. That's what you said, didn't you? Yes, right? So you're basically feeding it back to them. So I just want to go through. Do you have any questions about the program? Do you have any questions about what we put in front of you? And do you have any questions about how we work together? No. And then I say, look, level with me. Is it about the money? And let me ask you this question. They'll go, yeah, it's a little bit more than what I wanted to pay, higher than what I thought it would be. So then I've got one option. I can go back to price anchor, right? Or I'll say this. I'll say, listen, if we were to put the money aside for a second, is there any reason why you would not go ahead with this program? Other than the money, right? Is there any reason why you wouldn't get this started now, right? And the guy will go, no, it's the money. If we, in that moment when he says, no, I love the program, we have to do this, right? I've just got to figure out the money thing. They just bought your deal. In that moment when they agree that it's not about, that there's a money issue, there's nothing, they want the program, they just bought your program. So let me explain why they just bought your program, right? So remember, we took the money off the table. So look, level with me. Is it about this program? Can you see how this is going to get you the patients? Is this the thing that you said that you wanted? Yes, yes, yes. This is exactly what we wanted. But we thought, it's a little bit high for us right now, right? Great. Let's put the money back on the table. So if I make it easier for you to get started, is that okay with you? Right? I ask you for an initial installment, a setup fee of $5,000. Instead of the $5,000, what could you afford to get this thing started? Because it's going to take us 30 days, 6 weeks to get the other part rolling. But what could you afford to do? And the guy might say, now notice how I would say, what can you afford? Rather than me saying, look, I'll tell you what I do. Can you do 50% of the deposit instead of the full deposit? How's that, right? So I'm just going to give away $2,500, right, that I could collect right now by giving a 50% discount, right? So he'll probably go yes or no. But if I ask him, say, look, I know it's a $5,000 initial installment to get this thing started. What can you afford? What can you pay us for the initial installment to get started? And then they'll say something like, because they're not going to go half, they're probably going to go, would you expect $3,000 and can we pay the balance in 30 days? They're going to give you the solution. I'm not giving you the solution. They're going to give you the solution, right? So you can sit there and go, yeah, we can let you have it for that, right? Yeah, that's awesome. Let's help you out. Let's get you started. I know this is awesome, right? So they pay the deposit and then the balance in 30 days on top of their monthly management fee, right? So in 30 days, you're going to pay the $3,000 plus another $2,000, that's $5,000, right? Or the $4,000 plus another $2,000, that's $6,000, right? So that way you're allowing them, because they said that they want this, and I'm just making it easy, right? The other way to do this, if you sign the agreement, right, that you can pay the setup fee, right, in 30 days. Sign the agreement, right? Or give me $1,000 installment and balance in 30 days and we'll get started. Sign the agreement. So take some money, let's go, right? We'll start working together, right? That's another way to do this. But the money close is always, and here's the other thing. Small businesses, when you look at your price points, they can't afford, a lot of businesses can't afford to spend $3,000 to $5,000 if they're only turning over a couple $100,000 in business. Yep. They just can't afford it. We're asking too much. So this goes back to the qualifying stage to minimize this objection. Yes. You've got to be targeting businesses 2 million, 3 million up. That's the sweet spot, is 5 million to 10 million. That's the sweet spot. In our physical therapy side of things, we're looking at practices $1.5 million, because we're asking them for 50 grand. That's 5%, right, of $1 million business, right? Or 50 grand is 5% of $1 million business, $1 million practice, right? So 5% of their revenue towards marketing so they can grow. They're rationalizing the numbers, right? Or we say the cost of one employee. We're going to give you 5 employees for 1 employee, and we're going to manage your whole lead generation system. Can you afford 1 employee for us? Yeah. It's going to cost you 1 patient, right? We say 3 patients. We say if you give us 3 to 4 patients, that's all this is going to cost you. Would you give us 3 to 4 so we can give you 20 to 30 patients? Is that cool? Yes, right? So those are some of the ways in which you can handle the money, or I need to think about.
And on that qualifying, it really you shouldn't be pitching anyone where money's actually going to be a problem, right? You should, like you said, not only should you be looking at the revenues, but you find out what they're doing in marketing. Because again, if they're not spending money in TV, radio, newspaper, online, blah, blah, and you don't have those numbers, you don't want to be talking to them anyways, right? You don't even want to do it. So when it comes to the money objection, what you need to remember is they don't believe you. If they say it's about the money, it's because they just don't believe you. Just always remember that. All it says, just got to get them to believe you that you can help them, right? We know we can help people. We've already helped bridge the gap. Now they just need to believe you. I just want to put it in a different way, because it's so important. You shouldn't be pitching people where money's ever a problem, and you need to qualify that in the beginning here.
Have you got questions? I'm happy to handle questions.
Yeah, so we've got a couple questions here, man, because I want to jump to the Q&A. Because I don't have a ton of time here this evening, or too much
That's
longer.
Cool. We got 10 minutes, or?
Yeah, we got 10 minutes for sure. Absolutely.
That's cool.
Absolutely. No, we got a little bit more. I just want to, So the first question, one of the questions we got here, Eric Brown, if you're still on, man, what's up, Eric? He says, what's the best way to get to the business owner? It's a long road before implementing these strategies. Thanks for sharing. So, Eric, really quick, before we let John go in, I want to let you know it's not a long road, man. That's a mindset thing. It is a very quick road straight to the business owner. We're at the very beginning, my man, my brother. Like, I'm glad you're a new face right now to recognize your name, man. Welcome to the group if you're new. This is a quick road, and you are in the right place. If you think it's a long road, me and John can talk all day about going straight into businesses, man. So I'm going to let you answer that one, John, but I wanted to address the mindset of it first.
if I need to talk to a bit, so okay, let's talk about the chicken way of getting to the decision maker, right? The way that with the path of least resistance, right? Oftentimes I'll check out a website and see who the managing director or the CEO is. That's one place to find them. If I can't find them there, I'll look at the Facebook page for the company, and generally they'll talk, a CEO or whatever, or there might be a photo, so I can find a name. Or the easiest thing to do is just call the freaking company and say, hey, I just want to make sure I'm spelling the managing director's name correctly. Is it Bob Simpson? And they go, no, it's not Bob. You might have the wrong company. Our guy is Jerry Sampson, right? Or Jerry Jones, yeah? And they go, oh, great, I got Jerry Jones. So now I've got the name. So it takes me 5 seconds. I just want to spell the name correctly, but I just want to make sure we get the right invitation. Who's the managing director of the company? You can even ask straight out who the managing director of the company is. We just want to know, right? We're just keep getting our records right. That's another way to do it. They'll give you the name, right? So now I've got the name. Now I've got to get to the person. So if I want to do if I want to be the chicken, the scaredy cat, and not approach the owner, I can approach them on Twitter, LinkedIn. I can drag their email from Facebook. I can drag their email from LinkedIn. I can even find who they are from Twitter, right? So it's not hard to get a decision maker's name. Either call the company, look at a listing, look at their site, look at the your LinkedIn's and all this sort of stuff. So we need a name, right? So once we've got a name, I think is it Eric?
Yeah.
So once we know who that person is, we want to get a hold of them, right? So here's my cheap way of getting a hold of a managing director super fast, right? I'll send a quick email to say, and ask a question or ask a silly question and say something like, look, quick question. I'm talking to pharmaceutical companies right now that specialize in biomedicines for pharmacies, for regular pharmacies, right? Number one thing is you want independent pharmacies to take on your product. If I can show you a simple way to engage and connect with at least 20 or 30 pharmacies a month that'll look at taking on your product with your sales reps, is that something that'll be useful to you? If it is, just reply with your phone number, right? Now, I won't even let them reply, and I don't even care if they saw the email, right? So this is not the chicken shit way. This is the brave way, right? It's really easy, right? I'll pick up the phone, call them. Now I'm going to get a gatekeeper, right? So I'm going to say Nick's the gatekeeper. And I'm going to say, hey, Nick, it's John here. Can you just let Jerry know that John's on the phone? He knows that I'm calling.
Oh, he does? Yeah. Sure. Okay.
Great. Yep. Can you just put me through? Can you just put me through? And you're going to 70% of the time they're just going to put you straight through, and Jerry's going to pick up the phone because they don't know, right? And one thing on an email I always put is I'm going to give you a quick call. I'm telling them on a call. I don't care if they send an email. So here's what happens when I get Nick on the phone. Hey Nick, is this a good time?
Yeah.
Yeah, look, sorry, it's John Logar here. I just wanted to very quickly touch base with you. I shot you an email. Did you get that email from me regarding the,
No.
You didn't get it?
I didn't know. Who's this?
If you can give me 60 seconds, you can let me know if we should continue the conversation. Is that fair enough, Nick?
Sure.
Great. Okay. So now I've got 60 seconds. I'm talking to the man.
Yes. Guys, I've been doing this for years. So, years. When I first got started several years ago, that's literally what I did. I would send emails, I would call and follow up, and then I would send direct mail pieces that said, hey, I'm going to call you at XYZ time. Check my email. I would just run this whole thing around. It's all about the surrounding omnipresence. Find the email on LinkedIn, send a message on LinkedIn, email them, call to follow up, send a direct mail piece. Boom. They're going to know who you are. They're going to see you. And a lot of times they're going to apply to your prospecting. I throw another piece in the mix with a video sales prospecting letter. I like to I like to draw attention to a video sales letter. So they can build some authority, pre-frame, things like that. But if anything, just to get it in, it's just to get in the door and get in front of them.
Here's the other thing. I often say to people, look, I know I don't want to waste your time, Nick. I know that you're a really busy guy. But we've been talking to guys like you. We talk to CEOs, and I pull out a few competitors. We're talking to ABC Pharmaceuticals. I'm talking to Jim over at XYZ Pharmaceuticals. Look, they've agreed to receive some clear information on strategies to improve their connection engagement with the independent pharmacies. Can I send that information to you? Is that okay if I give that to you?
Yeah.
Great. Do you mind if I ask you, can I call you in a couple of days' time, more importantly, just to get your feedback? There's some really important ideas, and I'd love to get your feedback on that information. Is it okay if I can touch base with you?
Yeah, that sounds fine.
So now you give me permission to call you back,
Yeah.
right?
Oh.
So it's really easy. 80% of the people that you make that offer to will accept the offer.
Yeah.
80% of the people you say, would you like it? Is it okay from time to time? Can I touch base? Can I get feedback? They'll go, yes. So getting the decision maker is super easy. We don't need to make that very difficult.
For sure. Eric, man, yeah, I appreciate that. Eric said so much value here. Eric, welcome. Stick around. We got so many different ways we can reach people we'll be talking about. And make sure you jump on the lives because that's what we talk about over here. That's one of our favorite things to do, sell stuff. So the next question we've got is, let's see here. Justin, I think we just really went past what's the best way to get past the gatekeeper. Call him and act like you know who it is. Hey, this is Bob. You know, it's John there. You never say, this is Nick with Nick's marketing, ever. Just never say marketing and never say who's in charge of your marketing, ever. If anything, here's another one that we use, just if you guys want another script to get past gatekeepers, is, you know, I've got a bunch of patient referrals here in the area. Who would be the best person to, you know, send you guys new patients to? You know, something along those lines. Like, we've got patients here. Who's ready to take them? Who would I talk to about directing them to? You know, so they're kind of like confused, like new patients, who's getting them? Boom, what? Oh, that would be Cindy over in head of marketing. Or, oh, you need to talk to the doc, right? And that works very, very well as well for the side of things.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Next question is, so from Samuel, I got, when someone tells you they don't buy leads and they haven't bought leads for 2 years and are doing very well, what do you tell them?
I'll let you answer, and then I know what my response
I would be like, Samuel, what are we doing on the phone? The first question I ask him, why are we here? You know, I was like, what do you want then, brother? You know, so I would move on, honestly. Like, I mean, if they haven't bought leads and they're doing very well and they haven't bought leads in years, I mean, the hardest thing to do is try and convince someone that marketing isn't an expense and it's an investment. If they don't already have the idea that it's an investment, then that's just, we're not here to teach them how to run a business, right? Yeah.
And why would I make an 1 hour appointment with somebody who doesn't want what it is that they're asking for? Why are we even on this call, right? There's no, the other brush off a lot of people. So some of the things, by the way, that's probably a bit of a brush off too, because when you set up that call, you didn't set the presentation up correctly. You didn't answer all the questions. You didn't get what you needed. You should not have even made it to that call with that person. They didn't qualify. But one thing that will often happen, especially in the initial part of you prospecting, is you're going to get people say, send me a quote, send me a proposal, right? Send me a quote, right? This is a common thing that people do. They're not asking you for a quote. They don't care. It's a total brush off, right? So my thing is, look, that's great. So you've got a project that you're working right now that you actually need a proposal for. Great, that's awesome. We can certainly help you. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions? How important is this project, right? Why is it important for you now? And what strategies right now you're looking at to improve or give you the outcome that you're looking for in this project? Yep. All right? And very quickly, they're going to go, right? Like, no, I just want you to send me a quote. Well, I'm happy to do that. The only way, this is how we work. Is it okay if I share with you how we work with you? Is that okay? They go, yes, great. We want to be very clear about your objective. We want to be very clear about the outcomes. We also want to be very clear about how important this is to you right now. I'm not here to waste your time. We're here to get results. If you're after results, then we can help you. If you're not interested in results, we understand, right? And I appreciate that. But oftentimes my joke is, if somebody asks for a quote, I say, yeah, happy to send you an invoice with itemized investment.
Yeah, absolutely. And
happy to send you an invoice.
I need to think about it on that one too. Again, we always want to pull it back because you brought it up earlier. You say what roadblock, right? Or what's stopping you? I said, what's stopping you from reaching goals right now? What's been, what's ran in your way? What's been rough? And you repeat that again. So, XYZ, you told me that you were running into this and you told me that you weren't going to be able to do it. So I'm just curious, I mean, do you want to continue going on like that? Or what that's saying. That's something I want you to think about, moving forward. And then it's kind of like, and it's it takes a little bit of, you got to have some confidence to ask that question, right? But you want to bring up, you told me XYZ earlier. So what is there to really think about? Is this really you need to think about it? Or is there something else that we need to talk about? Because the whole goal and what John's mentioned here a lot when he's trying to isolate objections, is a lot of times what they say is the objection is the actual objection. That's what we're going over here, And so that's why we really want to, is it really? Well, you told me that you were going to stop here. What is there to think about? And you told me you wanted to go from XYZ. So do you not believe the plan, or do you not believe this, or do you not have the money, or do you, whatever it might be, right? We want to isolate it. So I'm just gonna do a quick recap, John, and then we'll let you have some parting words. So basically, guys, we've gone over a lot tonight. And the theme and the main thing I really want you to get is you really shouldn't have a ton of objections at the end, because again, the entire process, if you have a process, and yes, you need to have a process in your sales if you want to do well and you want to sell at scale, is built in order to eliminate those objections ahead of time and to work on getting them to believe you. And a lot of things me and John talked about and John goes over is very psychological triggers, getting them to say yes, asking about the what you know, or why Facebook, why now, what's going on, those types of things. Hitting things ahead of time, knowing your niche, and knowing if there's specific pain points in your niche that you can talk about early that shows that you know the niche. There's so many little things you can do to set that up so that there's very, very few objections, because there really is. The only objection is they don't believe you. Like that, I was convinced of that. And as long as you qualified them well enough, the only objection is they don't believe you. Like, and we can address everything else, man. But so we want to really set up our process the whole way. We also gave some good ways to start battling objections, because if you get in a big objection battle one-on-one for days, it's a very difficult fight to win if they just keep throwing everything. It means there's a leak in your process if you're running into that over and over again. Yeah. So with that, John, I'll let you close out. Any parting words, anything like that, man?
Just focus on helping people, number one. Like, I'm here to help you. When I say to people that the differentiate, say, listen, at the end of the day, who do you want to work with? You want to work with somebody who says, I'm going to get you some leads, or you're going to work with somebody who wants to live and breathe to bring you sales? What do you want to do? Because my goal is to work with you as a partner, because our goal is to work together for a long time. I'm here to help you grow and scale. And as long as I help you grow and scale, we're going to grow together. If you're interested in partnering with somebody that's committed to helping you grow as an outcome, I'm with you. Shall we work together?
Yep.
People want to work with people who want to work with them. I'm choosing you. So have that conviction. That's going to minimize anything. Remember, eliminate the objections right up front in their head. Why this? Why Facebook? Why AdWords? Why funnels? Why you? Why me? Right? Why now? Why is this now important? If you can get that out of the way, that's going to go a long way to clarifying why they're going to hire you. So with that, mate, I hope we handled a lot of stuff here. It was fun doing this. Thanks for the role play.
I love it, man. We'll have to come back. I will talk about some onboarding and some other stuff here in the future, man. Always.
Oh, absolutely.
I know everybody, because onboarding is so important, especially once you start scaling. Guys, as always, been a blast. We'll be back soon. John, thank you so much for your time, man. We'll be in touch soon, and we'll be back soon, guys.
Thanks, man.
All right.